Mr. Igboke is standing by. Mr. Igboke, Ambrose Igboke is the chairman of the Public Affairs Analysts in Enugu State. Thank you, sir. We just have about a few minutes with you. I don't know, network didn't want you to say anything, but God passed them.
The Nigerian factor.
So maybe you piggyback on some of the things we talked about. Maybe the issue of this U.S. report on transparency or otherwise of our budgeting system.
Well, there have been issues about our budgeting system. That is not in doubt. A budget that is, first of all, most of our budget is inadequate. We fund more of frivolities. After the current expenditure, we start funding frivolities. Then we borrow. Most of our monies are now, in service of loan. Look at the coastal road, for example. I don't know how that one was budgeted, and where there was no bidding process. So the budget expenditure itself is a big problem. And then we have had issues of budgets that there were budget heads, for example, for last year, and they are recurring again in 2026 budget. For example, there are some budgets, for example, for budget for furniture, budget for cars, and some budget for some of these things that are supposed to be one-off. I mean, at least one-off another 4 years or so. You see it reoccurring, and one begins to wonder whether they edit this budget at all, or whether they just look at the budget and then put a figure on it. And so our budgeting system has not been very okay. Remember the time of Buhari, where there was a mess in the budgeting system, and I think Mr. Akubeze or something had to go to debt management office, a budget office to help them. So we have not been really very serious on budgeting, because while we budget, it seems we don't also look at how we make the money. And there's so much in our deficit that one begins to wonder that what were they thinking when they were budgeting this kind of thing, and then there was no fund for it. And that goes to say that also what we are experiencing now, where there are budget headlines, but there are no money to fund them, and they are not funded at all. And so a nation who does not even know its own population, how does it even manage to do this budgeting when you don't even know, you don't have some the parameters for measurement? We don't know some statistics of our people, even as little as a population. And so it is, I agree with them, it's going to be messy if we don't have these figures. We don't have the right statistics for Nigeria. Even our population is estimated. The last population was population census was 20 years ago. How does a nation plan a budget based on 20 years statistics?
All right. Dr. Igboke, let's see if we can have you maybe just briefly also speak to the issues in Osun State, captured by, I think, 3 papers this morning. This Nigeria says Osun 48 hours to D-Day, fear of violence, votes buying grip state. Oyebamiji tackles Adeleke over 650 billion naira receipts. Security quizzes Fadahunsi on alleged threats to Accord party members. INEC adds SDP candidate to ballots. That also is reflected on the front pages of the Nigerian Tribune as well, and Daily Trust leading with the elections in Osun State. There's the question as to just how Senator Francis Fadahunsi, his comments, what you make of it. There's the also question as per the heavy presence of security officials in Osun State.
Please, I want to ask you, Kelly, is there any news about the arrest of Senator Francis Fadahunsi?
Well, there's no arrest. What we know is that he was invited, and he honored that invitation.
Look, this thing was on tape. It was not a reported speech. It was not a video that was, just concocted. This is what reported is. For those of us who understand Yoruba very well, like you and I, you heard what he said about killing people who are not members of his party, killing people who are court members, telling them not to come here, even frightening. It goes to show what he said, that he doesn't care whether he was being videoed or not, that they can take the video to anywhere, that nothing will happen. And exactly his words have been justified. Nothing has happened to him. Invited for which it is not an allegation. These things were on tape. He was supposed to have been arrested by now and prosecuted for inciting violence. Here we go again, because an APC member is free to go. Nothing is happening. I wonder what can happen to his members that he has told to go and kill. And if there are killings on Saturday, then we will hold APC responsible. I will hold people like Fadahunsi responsible and all his cohorts for telling people to go and kill people because they are not going to be, they are not members of their party. Yet he's working freely. And the rest, we have armed personnel maybe guarding him on that day. He'll be passing around the place, going around the open. And then, if he can say this kind of things in the open, in a gathering of hundreds of people, then one wonders what he says behind closed doors and what kind of instructions he gives to people behind closed doors. And if we continue like this and we don't have any consequence for this kind of statement, then perhaps we will not learn from history. Let us remember that it was the same Western region, that is election, Western Regional Parliament election, that set this country on fire between 1963 to 1966 and eventually led to the Civil War that lasted till 1970. Let us not, was it the Wild West? Why are we like this? If we cannot learn from the Operation Wet here in the early 60s and what it did to Nigeria, please, let the Southwest not plunge us into the same thing again. It's not only in the Southwest that we're having elections in this country. Let us, just because the ruling party wanted to, just the same playbook of what happened in the early 60s. The ruling party wanted to ensure that it won the Western regional elections. The same thing is happening now. Please, our president, let us not put this country on fire because of a ruling party wants to win an election. We have to be circumspect. We have to remember history. I want to prevent a reoccurrence of our ugly past in the 21st century. You win elections by persuasion. You win election by elections. You win election by your scorecard. And we win election by maintaining the dictates of democracy. Not by brutality, not by force, not by killing, and not by coercion.
Thank you so much. It's a very disturbing situation. In fact, right now, we don't even know who the aggressor is because on one hand, the APC says the Accord Party, they are the aggressors. They are the ones killing our people because if you look at the number of deaths recorded, they have more APC members and supporters. According to them, they have people that are more, they have more casualty figures in terms of fatalities than even Accord. Accord is saying it is the APC that is the aggressor. So it's the police that will give us the clear picture of what we're dealing with.
But we have something on tape. Whatever accusation.
No, I'm not even talking about Mr. Fadahunsi's issue. I'm just generally looking at the entire violent situation that we've recorded in Osun State. Of course, Senator Fadahunsi was on tape. And in fact, he has given us two versions or variations to that comment. The first thing he was saying is AI or something. Now he's saying is a version of Yoruba. So I don't know what to believe. But the police will give us a feedback as to what they are saying. But in just 30 seconds, EFCC recovers 115 billion naira, $84 million in oil revenue probe, traces outstanding payments to 24 Niger Delta operators. I think this is commendable. You know, when they don't do well, we are all gone blazing on them. But when they recover these monies for us, we're grateful. What do you make of it?
Well, we'll thank the EFCC for at least there's something to celebrate about EFCC after the bad news about them last week when they were behaving like a political party in Osun. So congratulations to you. These are the kind of things we should hear from EFCC. Financial fraud, things that we help the country. There are many more people to be probed. Go and get our more money. But again, I hope the money will not be reluted because that is always the story of Nigeria. We will recover Abacha loot and all those loot we recover. Before you know it disappears into thin air. EFCC should go after NNPC people who have not remitted money to our national coffers. I think that's the elephant in the room. Let us see whether we can recover money from them as well.
Mr. Ambrose Igboke is Chairman, Guild of Public Affairs Analysts in Enugu State. Thank you, sir, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me on the show.